In this week's Parshas Shemos, we're introduced to Moshe Rabbeinu, who, of course, all of us know is ultimately the Moshiach of Klal Yisrael, the one who saves them, who extracts them from Egypt during the Exodus itself. He's Melamed of the entirety of Klal Yisrael. He is effectively the segue between the entire Jewish people and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's their voice box and their conduit. And there's a rather strange interchange between HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Moshe Rabbeinu during the time of his selection. And no less than upwards of 28 psukim are spent from the moment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to Moshe Rabbeinu and he says, okay, here I am, appearing to him in the snev, the burning bush, saying to him that you are my chosen one, you are to go into Egypt, you are to take out my people from under the whip of Paro. And ultimately, all the way, 28 psukim later, after Moshe Rabbeinu has said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you know, God, I'm really not the person, and I don't have an easy way of speaking, and I don't have any experience, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I don't even know what your name is, and why would I be the one who is right, who should merit to be able to be in this position, and why will Klal Yisrael even merit to be taken out? Until after 7 days of back and forth, Moshe Rabbeinu turns to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and says, "Vayomer Moshe Adonai, be Adonai, please HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lo ish devarim anochi. I've told you already, I'm not a man of words. I've never had the gift of gab. Since the moment that you started speaking to me 7 days ago. And therefore, please Hashem Yisparach. Vayomer be Adonai, please Ribbon Shalom, shlachna b'yad tishlach. Send the person to take Klal Yisrael out whom you've been accustomed to speaking with. And Rishonim explained that of course refers to Aaron. Aaron, the older brother of Moshe Rabbeinu, was the Navi in Mitzrayim in Egypt. Aaron was the person that HaKadosh Baruch Hu had been speaking with. And of course HaKadosh Baruch Hu responds to Moshe Rabbeinu, Aaron Achicha HaLevi, Yodati Yidaber Yidaberhu. I know in fact that unquestionably, as the Sforno explains, Shemei Atzmohu Ba'al Lashon Limudim. Aaron has a gift of gab. Aaron is a smooth speaker. Aaron is a politician if need be. But you should know he's coming to meet you. And when he finds out that you've been selected to do this bidding of mine, Somach B'libo is going to be so happy. Why all of this? Why not simply have HaKadosh Baruch Hu come, tell Moshe Rabbeinu, you saw fit to come to see why the burning bush is not being consumed. You are my chosen one. You are going down to Egypt. End of story. I don't want anybody else. Why do we need this entire introduction before Moshe actually comes to Paro to perform all of the makas, all of the plagues, and take Klal Yisrael out to stand at Har Sinai to receive the Torah itself? And I believe that the following is the answer. Because there need be a lesson well learned. Namely, why were Klal Yisrael in Egypt in the first place? And all of us know that the reason was because the 10 brothers of Yosef were so consumed in jealousy of him that they decided to move him out of the way, out of the picture, and literally and effectively, proverbially, sell him down the river all the way down to Egypt to excise him from their lives. They simply couldn't take it. The fact that he had received the Ksunas Pasim, the fact that he was the Ben Zekunim Mulo to Yaakov, the fact that he was the one who ministered to the needs of their common father, it was simply too much. The fact that he was the beloved elder son of Yaakov's first and solely chosen wife of Rachel Imenu. So they sold him as a result of that jealousy. And because of that jealousy, Klal Yisrael were destined to be in Egypt until they officially had learned how to remove that sense of jealousy from amongst them. And therefore, I think we have the story. Because Moshe Rabbeinu was chosen to be the leader of Klal Yisrael. And he says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm not your man, I'm not the right person. Aaron is the right person. And if Moshe feels that he is inept, and he indeed is truly not equipped with a wherewithal to take them out of Egypt, neither in speech, nor in background, nor by experience, nor in his relationship with Klal Yisrael, that is nil at this point in time. And he's 80 years old, and he left presumably approximately at the age of 12. Kadosh Baruch Hu looks at him and he says, Moshe, you feel that way about yourself? Well, you know, there's effectively another person who should feel even more than you do that you are not the right person for the job. And who would that be? None other than Aharon, your brother, the one whom you wish for me to choose. Because if you feel that he's deserving of it and that you are not, let's think about Aharon for a moment. Why, he is the older brother. And he's been one that Klal Yisrael have been pestering and shepherding and coming and begging, please intercede on our behalf to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You are our Navi. What is God up to? Why isn't he hearing our pleas? Why isn't he taking this out? Why isn't he redeeming us? And Aaron had the hard questions that he no doubt had no answers for. And now Aaron was doing this for all of these years, and suddenly you, his kid brother, shows up. You who have not had to serve as a conduit between the suffering nation of Israel and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You who have known not one day of servitude of any kind, even though you're in the Shevet Levi, you haven't really witnessed it, other than that brief episode when you saw one Jew hitting the other Jew, and you smote him, and then you had to run away. And you haven't been privy to what we have been undergoing. So Aaron should say to himself, Ribbono Shalom, if anyone is deserving of presenting himself before Paro and telling him it's time for the nation of Israel to be freed, why, it's me. I have been your man till now. And I do have the gift of gab. And I do have a polished tongue. And I am articulate. And I am eloquent. In contrast to my younger brother who has no experience whatsoever, and perhaps he is even a stammerer. So if anyone should have felt jealousy of God's choice of Moshe Rabbeinu at this moment in time, it would have been Aaron. And yet HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe Rabbeinu, this is the person that you wish me to choose? Yodati ki daber yedaberhu. He indeed will speak on your behalf to the people. V'gam hinehu yosei lichrasecha, and he is coming forward to you. And he will be told by me, as I am instructing you, he will be your spokesperson to the people, and he will be your spokesperson to Paro. But you will be unto him, as Rashi explains, lerav ulesar, as a teacher, as a rabbi, and as a prince, as a nobleman, instructing him what he is to first repeat over with greater articulation and eloquence in your name. And Aaron will learn of this, of my choice of you. And what will his reaction be? Jealousy of the greatest kind, of the greatest level? He will see it, and he will see you, and he will be filled with joy and happiness in having this relationship with you and this relationship with me. And when the two of you will go forward and tell Klal Yisrael, Pakod Yifkod, that you are there on behalf in the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of Ekia, and you are there to redeem them and to finally take them out from the bowels of Egypt, where they were to learn the lesson of brotherly love and to love each other to the degree that there is no enmity, there is no jealousy. And they will see the relationship that you have with Aharon, and then Aharon, how Aharon looks at you, and the honor that he gives you, and the obedience that he shows you. Well, then they will realize that the time has come for the Geula, for redemption, for the lesson of brotherly love has finally been well learned. Have a wonderful Shabbos.